Okay, I want to give you some information about your lab this week. We're going to be working on the skeletal system, so I'll talk about that in a moment. But another thing you have to work on is this practice exam. So if you go to your laboratory manual, you'll see that I have a lab practical practice exam number 1 here. I think there's 35 questions. They're not just multiple choice, but they're fill in the blank and some matching, and they relate to the exercises we've done so far, exercises 1 through to 11, I think, but excluding 5 through 7. So take a look at that. It's pretty straightforward. I've given you some instructions there. The other thing I wanted to show you was the skeletal system resources through this Anatomy and Physiology Revealed. So similarly to before, you're going to launch this Anatomy and Physiology Revealed, and you're going to see that there's a lot of great resources here for you to use when you're kind of doing your studying. So we'll just wait a bit for this to upload or open. And here you go. So you can select your module up here at the top. So we're going to be working on the skeletal system. So we'll click on that. And there's a lot of options here. So there's dissection, there's some animations that could be helpful, histology, which would have been useful for you in the last week. Also some imaging. This is pretty detailed stuff. It's giving you some x-rays and MRIs and that sort of thing. So that might not be particularly helpful at our stage. And then there's a quiz. So the most important thing for us is the dissection tool here. So just click on the little scalpel and then it'll give you some options for topics. And so these are some of the topics that you're asked to consider. The skeleton here, the skull and associated bones, the vertebral column, thoracic cage, pelvic girdle, etc. So these correspond loosely to the exercises that are given in your lab manual. So as you're working through your lab manual, please take a look at this and because it's really helpful. So here, for example, let's click on skeleton and we'll choose a view. Let's choose an anterior view, so looking from the front. You can see the skeleton here, and we can choose the different features and they'll highlight them. So femur, costal cartilage, clavicle, these are the different regions you need to know. There's little descriptions here at the bottom, which I think are very, very helpful. So that's the skeleton. You can get more detailed into the skull, for example, and there's many views you can choose. Let's choose a view we're maybe not totally familiar with. Let's say an inferior view, so from the bottom. So you're looking up here at the bottom. So here's the skull portion you're looking at, and you're looking at it from the bottom. So these are all the different areas you need to know. So what's the foramen magnum? Well, it's this large hole here that allows for the brain to be connected through to the spinal cord. So you have brain tissue kind of moving through there. So a lot of really detailed kind of anatomical features are given to you in this as a resource. Okay, another thing I wanted you to be aware of is this other tool that I gave you, and this tool is a little, I think, very helpful resource. So scroll down to week 3, which is our current week, and I've given you this little labeling exercises tutorial here. So if you click on this opens up what's the 10th edition of Holes, but you can actually do some practice exams of anatomical features in the skull. So for example, here you can say, what's the parietal bone? Is this the parietal bone? No. Is this the parietal bone? Yay! So it sort of dings. Okay, so it's very exciting. So you can do some practice exercises using this as well. Okay, and there's tons here for you to look at, so just click on this link that I gave you and that'll be helpful. There's another link here that's a very basic kind of tutorial that allows you to go through some really basic features of the human skeleton. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Please do use those resources and yeah, just have fun exploring the skeletal system.